Hello everybody, I'm Sean and thanks for watching. I'm going to do a quick video on pads and protective gear for mountain biking today because I had some people asking about my gloves and even more people asking about my pads. So I'm just going to go over a quick why and how I got them, why I chose them, and where I got them from. So first off, these are the gloves that I use. They're the Fox Bomber gloves. A lot of people thought I was using motocross gloves because of the hard plastic knuckles, but and you probably could use them for motocrossing, but if you go to the Fox website, fox.com, then choose MTB, then men's gloves, however you get there. There's a trick I use for shopping online, and it's because sometimes selections can be a little overwhelming. There's a lot to choose from. But if you select that filter to price from highest to lowest, you'll get the most expensive gear to show up first. And when it comes to protective gear and padding, that's not something you want to half-ass. You really want good stuff when it comes to that. So that's how I found these, and they're around $50, but they feel nice, they're good and flexible, they vent pretty well, and they're machine washable. So I just put them in the washing machine, and then I don't throw them in the dryer. I just line dry them, and they come out smelling fresh. So those are the gloves. Next are my elbow pads and my knee pads. And I decided to get elbow pads because, let's face it, anybody who's ever crashed on a mountain bike, you've probably got some scars and some scrapes on your elbows, or you've had to at least put a Band-Aid on there sometime. These are the Fox Pro Launch D30 elbow pads and knee pads. The elbow pads come with a single strap that straps above your bicep or above your elbow to keep it from slipping off around your bicep. The cool thing about these pads is it has multiple layers of protection. On the inside, you can see how it's got all these different layers. The material is plenty breathable, but on the inside, they have, looks like that, this orange rubber plastic feeling material, and that pad covers the whole area of your elbow. It kind of feels like there's another little plastic cover on the inside here, but that gets capped off with one of these. And they're Velcro, and you can buy more if you lose them. They're on the Fox website. They've got them for a few bucks. You can order more. One thing they didn't have is on the inside of the pad, it says left, L for left and R for right. You don't have that on the caps because I take these off when it's time to wash them. So I just scribbled an L and an R so I could quickly tell them apart. I'm not sitting there looking at them going, which one goes where? So that just fits right on there like so. And you got a nice hard shell plastic cap as well. Another cool thing about these pads is around the edge, they've got this, it's almost like a double-lined material, and to the touch, it's kind of sticky. It feels like a sticky rubber, but that helps it even more from slipping off. So you've got that helps it from slipping off, the strap that helps it from slipping off, plus the material is, it's quick drying, it's very breathable, so even if you sweat a lot on hot days riding your mountain bike, these pads are going to stay in place. I've not had to pull them up once. Now, the reason I went with Fox is because my old knee pads, they lasted me 12 years before the stitching started failing and they started falling apart and needing duct tape. And if you can get a good 10 or 12 years out of a pair of pads, then why not stick with the same manufacturer? These are the Fox, again, Launch Pro D30 knee pads. And again, same thing. They've got that material on the inside all the way around that keeps it from slipping off your leg. And these also have another strap. There's one above your knee and there's another one below your knee. These adjustable Velcro straps really help keep the pad in place. You're not going to be stopping halfway down the trail to pull your knee pad up. Maybe between segments of your ride, you might pull it up to get it to fit more comfortably, but That's a big coverage all over your knee there. And again, it's got this extra little padding on the inside. There's a hole in there. I'm sure you could probably take that out when it comes to washing it, but I'm not going to try. And I'm afraid that if I tried to get it back in there, I'd probably rip the stitching. So it didn't seem to affect the machine washability of it at all. Again, I just threw it in the washing machine, hung it on a clothesline afterwards, and it was dry in a day. And these, again, you got the little plastic hard shell cap that I marked my left and my right with, so I can tell which one goes where. That's the left one. That's the right one. Now, next, I've got this thing, and it just looks like a simple sleeveless shirt. A mesh sleeveless shirt. No, I'm not dancing for any bachelorette parties anytime soon. This is actually Fox's sleeveless pullover that comes with a back plate. So if you take a tumble and land on your back, this will help keep your back from being too sore. And another cool thing I noticed about this the other day is in the back, it's got a little pocket. It's inside out right now, so I can put the pads back in, but you got a little zipper pouch right there for you to store stuff in, right at the bottom of your back. So that's handy. Now the trick to getting this thing in here is to basically, obviously when you wear it, you're gonna sweat and you're gonna wanna wash it. So you're gonna wanna take all the padding out. But once you've got that, you're gonna wanna figure out how it gets in there. And it's kind of pliable, a bit like clay, but it just fits in this little hole, just like so, maybe. I'm showing you this so you can think for yourself and decide, do I want to get this sleeveless shirt or do I want to spend the extra money on that really expensive jacket that they have that looks like it buckles around your ribs and it's got all the pads on the external, looks like a bit like a exoskeleton. But if we can get this in there, come on, man. Do I got it going the right way? Yep. There we go. You have to keep bending it and kind of shimmy it on there. It's not wanting to cooperate too well. Let me tell you, for future reference, if Fox could make one of these with a Velcro pocket or a zipper pocket, anything to make it easier, because this is just a pain in the butt. You might want to fast forward in the video to see what I'm going to talk about next. All right, we'll get to this later. Moving ahead, get on there. It looks like I'm starting to win just when I thought I was going to have to stop, hit pause record, and continue this video later after I got this sucker in there. It's finally in there. So you see, it takes a bit of a struggle, but it works. You can get it in there and out so you can launder it without too much of a fight. Also, it comes with this hip pads. These go on your hips and they just fit inside these little pockets on the side. These are a lot easier to get in there because the back plate is a real hard kind of composite rubber. You probably could tell from the struggle on my face trying to bend it while I was squeezing it in there. But these little foam pads, they actually are really easy to get in the pockets. Again, this is just some kind of special foam that Fox uses for their pads that is essentially just to protect, add a little extra protection to your hips should you fall over sideways. I know some of you riders that wear clipped pedals and clip in with your shoes, you guys sometimes have that problem. Landing on your hip, although may not really hurt that bad, can feel sore for days. And when you get older, yeah, hurts for even longer. Now, speaking about hurting for longer and recovering from injuries, man, these things just do not go in easily. You'd think the pocket would be better fit for the pad. I mean, it seems like it's the same shape. But then once you get in there, it just wants to ball up on its own. All right, that one is almost in position. Like I was saying, speaking of recovering from injury, nothing can help prepare you as much as proper fuel, nutritional fuel for your body, taking care of your muscles, exercising right. Because when you're stiff and you're not very flexible and limber, it just makes getting hurt that much easier. All right, last thing to go in this shirt is the chest pad. This part goes just right here, really, and it just squeezes into the little hole in the front, much like the back plate did, but this foam is a lot easier to get in there than the back plate was. So you just roll it up like a taco. Once it's in there, unroll it until it's in the corners nice and even. And voila. Now, it may look like I'm struggling with this, like I'm a glutton for punishment or something, but this is not even $100. So you could buy this, struggle with the pads, machine wash it, or you could buy that exoskeleton thing that costs double the amount of this. So, cool thing about this being the size that it is, it just fits right into my little backpack, just like that. Actually, I'm going to show you one more thing here because I had to turn it inside out to get the pads out, or back in rather. So I'm just going to turn it right side out. So when I put it on, it's not inside out. And you can see it just pretty plain, not really any graphics, just a Fox logo on the front. But like I was saying, this fits in my backpack pretty simply. Just like that. And then all of my pads fit in there nice and snug, along with the gloves, and still enough room to fit the GoPro chesty mount in the top. Now you've got just one single bag for all your safety gear. Speaking of safety gear, I might as well go over the rest of it. So how about some eyewear? Oakley's a good brand to use. They may be a little pricier. You may think, oh, I don't know, it's kind of expensive. But one thing Oakley does is safety. They actually use ballistic tests on their eyewear. So if you happen to crash mountain biking, or you're going really fast and you fall over and there happens to be a bunch of rocks, well, if one of them gets you in the eye, you don't have to worry about going blind because they did the testing to make sure that lens is not going to break. So even against high impacts, Oakley, they've put in the work to make sure that your eyes are going to be protected. So with that being said, there's one other pair of glasses I have. It's actually not Oakley, and the only reason I have them is because some days you want to go mountain biking and it may not be raining, but it's really cloudy and dark and the sun's not shining. Or you may be riding through some really dense woods that make it even darker and the sun's not shining. So why use sunglasses? That's why I picked up a pair of these clear Typhasi glasses. The clear coat basically makes it easier for me to ride in darker conditions where, say, sunglasses would kind of hinder my sight a little bit. Another cool thing about these, they actually have this cool feature where they shade a little bit if the sun does come out. So if you happen to be riding with these and the sun comes out, they'll darken a little bit. Or if it stays dark, they'll stay relatively clear. And yeah, you can protect your eyes that way as well. So for darker conditions, I keep these on here. Now, a lot of people will ride with a backpack because they feel they have to take a lot of stuff with them, say spare inner tube, tools, I don't know, first aid kit. I only take just a simple butt pack. It's got enough room, or a fanny pack has enough room to fit a cell phone in there. And then another additional pack that I can fit a good pocket knife in there in case I need it. And a little Ziploc bag that is basically a little first aid kit. I've got a glove in there, a large Band-Aid, some small Band-Aids, some tape, some alcohol swabs, some antibacterial pads. And basically, if I get scraped up out on the trail, I can use this, and I've got an even bigger first aid kit back in my truck. So as long as I can get back there, then I can use that. That way, I don't really have to worry about something like a big lumbering backpack on my back weighing me down or throwing off my balance. If you have a Camelback and you like storing water back there, that's fine, but understand you could also keep a water bottle on your bike too, in a simple water bottle cage. These are really handy. For helmets, if I'm going on a nice leisurely ride with the missus, or I'm going to the local park where the trails are pretty flat, a half head helmet like this is just fine. But if I'm going to a downhill park, or I'm tackling some downhill trails, or something where I might hurt myself, then that's what the full face helmet's for. This is the Fox Pro Frame, no, not Pro Frame. This is the Fox Rampage Pro Carbon helmet. This is an expensive helmet, I'm not gonna lie. But again, when it comes to safety equipment, I want it to be safe. So the reason I chose to upgrade to the Rampage Pro Carbon is because carbon, it's really light. So when it's on your head, it doesn't feel like you're wearing something that is big and heavy. Also, I got this helmet because of these cool bug screens. Yes, I live in South Texas. There are a lot of flying insects. They get into your helmet. It's really frustrating to have to take your helmet, to have to stop in the middle of the ride, take your helmet off, and wiggle your head around to try to figure out what June bug, wasp or bee or moth or something or fly got into your helmet and is buzzing around in there. So this is a pretty cool helmet. The pads and the cheek pads all come out. It's all machine washable. So yeah, I definitely like this helmet. It's so comfortable. I actually don't even take it off between rides sometimes because it's just, it ventilates that well. Another cool thing about their helmet bags is they come with a little zipper pouch on the side, which has become a handy storage compartment for all my GoPro mounts and accessories. And another feature about the helmet is if you do a face plant, the visor is a breakaway, so I would also recommend getting yourself a spare visor, because I've already cracked it once, and when it comes off, yeah, I'm not going to want to wait to put another visor on, so there you have it. Now onto your feet. For shoes, I got these cool 510 Free Rider Pros. The reason I got these is because I like flats. If I get into some gnarly trails, I like my feet to be able to push off of whatever is not my pedal. So I wear these with flat pedals with the little pins in them. They stick really well to these Stealth rubber soles, which is a compound, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of Australian mountain bikers developed. And the toe, although not steel toe, it's pretty hard. So you could cram your toe up against rock strikes, one after another, and it's not really gonna hurt your foot or break your toe. If you're like me, you're gonna put your laces in through the laces so they get them out of the way and you don't have to worry about them getting stuck in your chain or anything like that. Again, as far as shoes go, they're a little bit more expensive than what I would pay for my running shoes, but they're worth it. They really are a good riding shoe. What's the last thing I have to talk about? Oh, you guys know what these are for. Reproductive organs. Let's be honest for a second. It's a bicycle. There's a top tube. It's gonna happen eventually. Sooner or later, you're gonna slip off that seat, or you're gonna, like me, try to clear a big step up, and your bike's gonna get so far out in front of you that the back tire is gonna come up in between your crotch and act like a little meat grinder. So I went shopping and found these. There's this company called Shock Doctor, and they make a simple boxer brief, and it just has a pocket on the inside. The cup slips into there. You can have children in the future as long as you're protected down there. For you guys that like to wear Lycra riding your bikes, there's the air-conditioned model. So be safe out on the trail, people, and if you see me, give a yell. Holla.